Welcome. I'm so deeply glad you're here with me today. Think of this explainer as a conversation between sisters, a quiet, empathetic journey into something that affects so many of us. If you're exhausted, if your body kind of feels like a stranger right now, I want you to know you're in exactly the right place. We're going to explore some ancient healing wisdom from the biblical world and see how it directly meets our very modern need for comfort. Picture this. It's 3 a.m., you wake up absolutely drenched in sweat. Your heart is racing, your sheets are completely damp, and that deep, restorative sleep you so desperately need, yeah, it feels totally out of reach. We know this visceral experience all too well, don't we? It is just exhausting. But what if there was real hope? What if a single warm cup, prepared from the sacred plants of the biblical world and sipped right before bed, could reduce those night sweats by over 60% within just a few weeks? And what if I told you this isn't just folklore, but exactly what a double-blind clinical trial has now confirmed? Incredible, right? Before we dive in, I want to set some safe boundaries for our time together because I really care about your well-being. This explainer is strictly for educational purposes. While the information we're discussing today is powerfully backed by clinical research, it absolutely doesn't replace medical advice. Your body is unique, so if you're taking medications, especially hormone replacement therapy, please promise me you'll speak with your doctor before adding any new herbal preparations to your routine. We want you healthy, safe, and fully supported. Okay, let's get right into it and talk about the biology behind these hot flashes.
First off, I want to validate your suffering right here and now. Hot flashes are a very real, intense biological reaction. They're not just in your head, and you are certainly not overreacting. It all starts with the hypothalamus. Now, this is a tiny region in your brain that acts like your body's thermostat. When everything's balanced, it keeps your temperature perfectly regulated. But during menopause, this little thermostat becomes incredibly hypersensitive. Even a tiny fraction of a degree shift in your core temperature causes the hypothalamus to basically hit the panic button. It thinks you're dangerously overheating, so it triggers a massive emergency cooling response. It floods your skin with blood, triggers sudden sweating, and creates that intense, sometimes terrifying wave of heat.
So normally, estrogen is like a gentle hand that keeps that hypothalamic thermostat perfectly calibrated and stable. But as estrogen naturally declines during perimenopause and menopause, well, that gentle hand is removed. And without it, the thermostat becomes erratic and super trigger happy. Understanding this is actually so empowering, right? Because it shows us that if we can gently support that estrogen signal, we can calm the panic in the brain. Which brings us to a beautiful ancient solution, a simple sage and hyssop infusion. For thousands of years, women have leaned on two foundational sacred plants of the ancient world, sage and hyssop. And you guys, the clinical data here is just staggering. A landmark, double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trial, literally the gold standard of modern medical research, found that a standardized sage preparation significantly reduced hot flash frequency by an incredible 64% within just 8 weeks. Wow. Even within 4 weeks, women saw a 50% reduction. This is ancient wisdom being perfectly validated by modern science. So how exactly are these sacred plants pulling this off? Let's gently break down the science. Sage contains specific phytoestrogenic compounds called ginkanin and luteolin. These beautiful little compounds actually bind to the beta estrogen receptors in your body. They step in to gently compensate for your declining estrogen, helping to recalibrate that panicked thermostat in your brain we just talked about. And then there's hyssop. Now, hyssop is an herb used for purification throughout scripture, and it brings rosmarinic acid, which reduces oxidative stress, and ursulinic acid, which supports your exhausted adrenal system. See, when your ovaries stop producing as much estrogen, your adrenals try to pick up the slack, and they get so overloaded. Hyssop provides the exact soothing support they need to recover. Now, let's talk about how to amplify those healing effects using flaxseed and fenugreek. While sage and hyssop are profoundly effective all on their own, we can dramatically amplify their healing power with flaxseed and fenugreek. Flaxseed is literally the richest dietary source of lignans. When you eat them, your gut bacteria brilliantly convert them into compounds that modulate estrogenic activity throughout your entire body. In fact, clinical studies show flaxseed alone can reduce hot flashes by 52%. Plus, it brings in omega-3s to cool down systemic inflammation. Then we add fenugreek. This contains a steroidal saponin called diasgenin, which acts as a natural building block, a precursor to steroid hormones, supporting healthy estrogen levels. Put them together and they're addressing the root hormonal cause from multiple directions at once. It's like a symphony for your hormones. But wait, there's another fascinating piece to this puzzle that we need to look at, the serotonin connection. This is a biological dimension of menopause that most doctors never even mention to us. The crucial point here is that your brain's thermostat isn't just regulated by estrogen. It is also heavily dependent on serotonin. When serotonin drops, that thermostat gets even narrower and more hypersensitive. To support this, we look to the precious biblical spice mentioned in the Song of Solomon, saffron. Saffron contains safranol and crocin, which naturally inhibit serotonin reuptake. That means it leaves more serotonin available in your brain, kind of like modern antidepressant medications do, but completely naturally and without those unwanted side effects. We pair this with black seed. Black seed contains thymoquinone, a compound proven to calm the sensitivity of those serotonin receptors. We're literally nourishing the brain's pathways directly.
All right, let's get practical. It's time to put all this together into our complete drink recipe.
I want to invite you into my kitchen now to combine all these ingredients into one golden, deeply warming, comforting cup. Here is your recipe for relief. Let's walk through it together, nice and slow. First, bring 2 cups of fresh water to a gentle simmer. Add 8 to 10 sage leaves, quantity really matters here, and a handful of hyssop. Simmer this gently for 10 minutes. Now, please don't boil it vigorously. High heat will destroy those delicate, beautiful phytoestrogens we just talked about. Remove it from the heat, drop in 8 to 10 delicate threads of saffron, and let it steep for 5 minutes. Then, strain it into your favorite warm cup. Finally, stir in 1 tablespoon of freshly ground flaxseed, and yes, it must be ground or your body won't absorb it, half a teaspoon of fenugreek, and half a teaspoon of black seed. Add a gentle drizzle of raw honey. It's aromatic, slightly bitter, and wonderfully warming. Drink this 30 to 60 minutes before bed to let those compounds peak in your blood right when the night sweats usually strike.
Now, how do we make this a sustainable part of our lives? Let's talk about cultivation and building a beautiful evening ritual. You might be wondering where to get all of this. Well, even if you have absolutely zero gardening experience, I promise you can do this. Sage and hyssop are so forgiving. They will happily thrive in 2 small containers on any sunny windowsill. You could literally start them today. Flax and black seed grow beautifully from seed in just a single season. Fenugreek, you can actually sprout it in a jar of water on your kitchen counter in like 3 or 4 days. And if you plant saffron crocus bulbs in the autumn, they're going to gift you with those precious red threads year after year. You truly have the power to grow your own sacred living medicine right at home. But you know, it isn't just about the ingredients, it's about how you approach them. The women of the biblical world knew that healing happens in rhythms. By making the preparation of this drink an unhurried evening ritual, you're actually engaging in a profound biological intervention. Just this simple, mindful act of simmering the water and grinding the seeds activates your parasympathetic nervous system and lowers your cortisol. This is critical because cortisol, that pesky stress hormone, and estrogen share the exact same biochemical building blocks. If you're stressed, your body literally steals those building blocks to make cortisol, leaving absolutely nothing to make estrogen. This ritual stops that theft right in its tracks. I really want this to sink in for a moment. This isn't just a recipe. It's an ancient practice of self-care, faith, and healing that the women of the biblical world lived. When you pair this warming drink with a mindful faith practice, maybe just a few minutes of quiet prayer, reading some scripture, or simply sitting in deep gratitude, you are engaging your mind, your body, and your spirit. You're participating in a beautiful lineage of women who found comfort, grace, and healing through the rhythms of the earth and their faith. So, sweet friend, I leave you with this final thought and question. Will you reclaim your peace and your sleep tonight with these sacred plants? You really don't have to suffer through the exhaustion of night sweats unsupported. I encourage you to gather these ingredients, make this beautiful drink tonight, and please share this explainer with every woman you love who is walking this difficult path right now. Be sure to subscribe to Grace Roots Remedies for more deeply rooted biblical wellness wisdom made specifically for us. And remember, always consult your doctor before changing your health routine. I am wishing you a cool, deeply restful, and restorative night's sleep.